Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. It says we're live.
Okay.
Are we live?
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Video switched over.
Oh,
there we are. Wow, what a pain in the butt that was.
YouTube, figure out your nonsense, man. Good God.
Yeah, it happens like every once in a while. It says like it can't go live, or there's issues, or unable to stream. It's like, first give me just one error message, and number two, don't give me that error message at all. So only give me one of them, but then never give me that one.
Mm-hmm. All right, so can you guys all hear me? All right, are we good? If you can hear us, then put a thing in chat, like put a Bill emote in chat there, members. Everybody's gonna do a Lloyd emote. All right, sounds good. All right, Trev says we can be heard, which is good to hear.
Awesome.
That was a weird way to phrase that.
It is very punny, a punny way to do it.
I didn't mean to, though. I didn't mean to. It wasn't on purpose.
Likely story.
Likely story. There we go. Oh man. Hope you guys are having a good day. Can I hear a clock, or is that music in the background? That's music. I don't think you can hear a clock. Is there a
No.
Is there a you remember that episode of Seinfeld where George built a he built a napping station in his desk? And
oh yeah.
George Steinbrenner thought that there was a bomb.
Oh man, I love Seinfeld so much.
It is great. It is very, very good. Oh man. Hey everybody. Welcome back. Sorry for our 5 minutes late start. Nothing could be done about it. YouTube was giving us errors as we tried to go live.
Yep.
I wish that they could just nail it. That they could just nail it. Eric Violet, thank you very much for becoming a member. We appreciate the support. Kumana became a member 2 days ago when we were not streaming. Marcus Zara became a member 3 days ago. I really, really appreciate that. You guys are fantastic. You make making independent gaming content so much easier. So thank you guys for doing that.
So riddle me this, Bill.
Yes.
My cats are not allowed in my computer room because I have to basically move all my cables, and I haven't done it yet.
Lazy.
So there's no cats in here ever.
Okay.
I just had a cat hair poking me in the ear from inside my headphones, and I'm like, why is my ear annoyed? And I open it up, and there's a big cat hair sticking right out. And I'm like, seriously, where the hell did that come from?
Well, air, man. It floats. It floats on
obviously
the air.
It came from me, but that's the last thing that I expected.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know if you noticed, but last episode we didn't talk at all about the cats at the beginning. And there were a bunch of comments saying, "Where were the Stadia cats? I'm unsubscribing."
I did see that. That made me laugh a little bit.
That made me laugh too.
Here's a Stadia cat.
There you go. Yeah, there's a Stadia cat right there in chat, everybody. Oh, look at that. Lloyd, tweet that
Stadia
picture
cat
out, and then people can see it, because nobody can see it. It's tiny.
It is tiny, but he's a big boy, so it's good that he's tiny every once in a while. Keeps his his brain, his I don't know, his ego in check, I guess.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, hey, if you could do us a favor, since there's over 100 of you here right now, if you could do me a favor and click on all of the YouTube buttons. All right. Do that for us. That would be really, really fantastic. We appreciate it. Oof, that animation is running real slow right now.
Oh, is it?
Oh yeah. That's
okay. Yeah, look at that.
I delayed it. I put a 20-second delay in it before it shuts it off now. And what that does is gives it time for when it's running like crap.
Yes. Okay, I tweeted it out. I'm just copying the tweet right now.
There you go.
And I will paste it in.
And honestly, if you guys aren't already following Dasme, what are you doing? What are you doing?
There's your
with
Stadia cats, people.
There's your Stadia cats. I gotta click it. I gotta see it myself. It's probably because I have. You know why it was running so slow? It's because I have 7,000 tabs open and I'm recording and streaming. All right, Stadia cats. Here we go. Oh, look at that cat. He's adorable.
Finger crossed Lloyd got a sixth cat. No. Thankfully
cat.
Not.
A sixth
Thankfully
cat.
Not.
I'm like, it's all we can handle having two in the house myself. I don't want any more cats.
Yeah, we got two. We've had Tank for a month, and we've done a bunch of vet stuff. So these two cats have cost me an arm and a leg. Like you go to adopt a cat from I went to the local humane society. There's many different ways to adopt a cat that needs it, not buy a cat from a store. And they were doing a sale. It's like they're an older cat because they're over 1 year. So it's only a $49 or a $79 adoption fee. And I was like, that's great. That's super cheap. That's awesome. And then next thing you know, we spend like $2,000 at the vet. It's like, okay, so much for that $79 adoption fee. Okay, it wasn't that much, but it's just cats are expensive.
They are. All right, are you ready to make an MP3, my friend?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we apologize again for the delay. We do not, however, apologize for the cat talk because you know what? We like having our cats and we like talking about our cats. So there. All right, let's shut off the music. I'm gonna minimize that and we'll pause that awesome music that we were just listening to. Okay, let's get started. I'm gonna hit this button and then we're gonna go. Welcome back to Stadiacast, everybody. It is your source for all things Stadia. I'm Bill. That's Lloyd. Lloyd, how's it going, man?
It's going pretty good, Bill. For us early on a Sunday, woken up by a cat stomping on my face because we got to do some Stadia cats to start the show off. It's pretty good, man.
That's right. Listen, everybody. This is the place where you want to come for any Stadia news that you want to hear our coverage of. Before we get started, we do record the show live. You can join us Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern by heading on over to youtube.com/Stadiacast. If you want to directly support the show and you happen to be here with us live, there is a button that you can use in chat called the Super Chat button. It guarantees that we see your message and we reply and respond to each and every Super Chat that comes in throughout the show in the second half of the show, which we call Crowd Play. If you are not here live and you want to support the show, there you can also click on that join button right down below the video, because that join button gets you access to early videos. Sometimes it will get you access to specific channels of our Discord that are just for supporters, as well as all of the crazy emotes that have been made by our awesome David Rodriguez Jr., so he's awesome for making those cool emotes, as well as some very poorly made emotes by me. So thank you, everybody who does support, like Jem just became a member again just while I was saying that. Let's get started with the show, though, Lloyd. What have you been playing this week?
On Stadia, the only thing that I've been playing is Elder Scrolls Online. Not because there isn't other things to play, but because I've been playing Paper Mario on my Switch, and I am absolutely addicted to that game, and I want to complete it. So that has taken up all my gaming that isn't running around dungeons smacking things with my bow and sharp arrows.
So let's say that somebody wants to hear your thoughts about that game. What podcast might they subscribe to?
Well, they can check out the episode of Nintendo Pulse, which I think is going to be posted in about 15 minutes here on the feed because I have it scheduled to go live at 9:30. Or they could probably catch me on Nintendo Switchcraft at some point in the future, because I'm sure Bill's going to want me on to chat about that game, because we've chatted about that a few times.
Yes, definitely. All right, I have been playing. Listen, so in Elder Scrolls Online, the level cap is 50, but then you start to get these champion points, and as you level up, your gear that you get will be like, all right, I just got this piece of gear. It's level 14 gear. Awesome. When you get to level 50, all of the gear is level 50. But when you start earning those champion points and you get you finish a dungeon, you get a piece of gear, it's like champion points, whatever champion points you have. And the cap for that is 160. And I'm currently at level 156, I think. So I'm like, I'm within spitting distance of that. And so I've been completely obsessed with playing Elder Scrolls Online lately. So I'm right there with you. That's the game that I have put most of my time into. I also played some Orcs Must Die 3, which we'll talk about today. I will say this. I did a live stream of Orcs Must Die 3, and there were people in chat, and they were like, Bill, have you used this? Have you used that? And I was like, no, I haven't unlocked any of that yet. I was waiting for these things to be unlocked, but what you have to do is you have to spend skulls to unlock certain traps, and I didn't realize that. I thought you just used the skulls to upgrade your traps. So I spent some skulls. I bought some of the new traps, like the butterfly window and the like the little flower thing and all of that other stuff. And man, it made my job so much easier in Orcs Must Die 3. So here's my little tip to everybody. If you're struggling with Orcs Must Die 3, spend some of your skulls to unlock a bigger variety of traps and try some stuff out, because I ended up buying like the floor saws and the flowers and the butterfly thing, and I'm very much looking forward to. You can also unlock weapons, like there's a crossbow somebody was telling me about, and I was like,
yeah,
okay, I gotta try out that crossbow.
I think you have to beat the game to get the crossbow. I think that's like one of your things that's unlocked at the end.
I believe so too. I am very close to the end, and I'm having an absolute blast with it, but it's kind of gone on the back burner while I try and hit CP 160 in Elder Scrolls Online. But that's what I've been playing. All right, go ahead, Lloyd.
I'm CP 145, so I'm right behind you, and I have a bunch. There's an event going on right now. If you do stuff in Somerset, you get these boxes that you can open that contain things. But if you do a world boss once a day, you get one of these like giant coffers. I'm saving all of those until I hit CP 160. So I'm in a mad rush to go from 145 to 160 so that I can open these things and get hopefully really good gear for when I hit my gear level, gear max level. So yeah, I'm right behind you, Bill. I'm in the mad rush to get CP 160.
Yeah, I've been doing that event too, and my inventory is littered with those stupid boxes. And of course, I'm waiting to open them until I hit 160 because I want 160 gear. Yeah. But that means that I have no room for anything.
I opened all my purple ones just because I'm like, okay, the likelihood of getting good gear from there is low, and it's mostly crafting supplies or antiquities that you can sell. So I'm like, I need more room in my inventory. So I just opened a bunch of them. I had like 25 sitting in my inventory. I just opened those. But I'm keeping all my daily bags and my big like glorious coffers or whatever they're called for when I hit CP 160. So I want to do that as soon as possible. So I think today is going to be another day of grinding away in the dungeons to hopefully hit max gear level.
All right, so let's move on to the news. We've got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. Before we actually start on the news, somebody reached out to me and they said, hey, Bill, I've got a website that I want you to check out, and that's Stadiahead.com. And I had kind of seen it in passing before, but I'd never really paid too much attention to it. I will say this, you know, there's basically what this is like a website that is a database of games that you can play on Stadia. And if you click on one of the games, I'm going to click on one that we have more information about, like we'll look at Ember. If you click on that, It's going to tell you a little bit of information about it, which is great. But then it's also going to tell you under specifications, it'll say best quality is 1080p 60 frames per second, whether or not it has online co-op, whether or not it's a single player or an online game, or if it has support for controller and mouse or keyboard. It'll let you know if it is claimable. And I was like, this is a pretty decent website. In full transparency, they do feature us under the news section of their website, just to be transparent about that. And that's not the reason I'm talking about this. The reason I'm talking about this is because I reached out to my PR contact, one of my PR contacts at Google, and I said, hey, is there an easier way for me to get the click to play links right now? Because what I've done is I've gone in, I load it up in the browser, which I never play in the browser. I load the game up in the browser. I hold down the escape button until it goes back into window mode, and then I click and copy the URL. And that was really irritating of a thing to do for every time that Lloyd or I make a video. But you don't have to do that. You could just go to Stadiahead.com, and if I want to make a click to play button, like they already have a click to play button, and they have a little clipboard right next to it, so I can click it. I've now copied it, and now I'm going to paste it. I have to, there we go. I hit the wrong button, so I'm going to click on that, and it puts it in my clipboard, and then I can paste it right in chat, and then if people want to start playing Crata,
awesome.
They can click that. So that makes my life a little easier, and I know that there's a lot of Stadia content creators that listen to this show, and I wanted them to know about it because I figured that would save them a step or 7. Anyway,
100%.
Go ahead.
Stadiahead's a really great website. I love the fact that they're pulling in all the data directly from the Stadia servers here, but adding more info to it. It's not just a copy paste or a I don't know, a screen scrape or whatever. But one thing I just remembered is that SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom is coming to Stadia, and I want to play that game so bad, but I've been holding off on picking it up on Switch. So now I don't have to worry about picking it up on Switch. I'll just get it on Stadia when it comes out. So thanks, Stadiahead. I totally forgot that game was coming to Stadia.
And one last thing about Stadiahead is it's a fast website. I cannot stand it when I click on a website and it just goes really, really slow. And I'm like, okay, forget it. I'm not going here anymore. I just move on. That's a really fast website, so I like it a lot. All right, let's get on with the news. Blast your way to victory with action games coming soon. Soon to Stadia. We don't know when soon is, but we've got 3 games were announced for Stadia. This came out on Friday, to my chagrin. For those of you who've been paying attention to the YouTube channel, you'll understand why. If not, it doesn't matter. Let's move on. Sniper Elite 4, Strange Brigade, and Super Hot Mind Control Delete. We now know that they're all coming to Stadia. I will say this: Strange Brigade is coming, and I didn't notice this before, on August 1st. So Strange Brigade is actually coming. Are all of these games coming August 1st, or just?
I think Strange Brigade's the only one that has a date that I can see.
So here's what I'm going to read you the quote, and we'll see if your understanding of what they said is the same as mine. They say, take on new adventures that will send you through the landscape of World War II, across remarkable and magical ruins, and a world where time only moves when you do. We're excited to announce the Super Hot Mind Control Delete and Sniper Elite 4 as new action games arriving on the Stadia store, plus Strange Brigade coming to players on August 1st. So that's the only game that's coming August 1st, right?
It's awkward when you do things like that, when you have a sentence that has so many commas in it and other things and hyphens. It's hard to tell. It could be either way. I'm assuming that Strange Brigade is coming August 1st and the other two aren't, but if they all come August 1st, something happens on August 1st, so maybe that has something to do with the timing of this announcement.
What happens on August 1st, Lloyd?
our new free pro games get unlocked. So maybe one or more of these will be a pro title for the month of August.
Yeah, I would assume that it's Strange Brigade is one of the pro titles for August, which is awesome because I watched the trailer for this and it looks really, really cool. It looks like you've got kind of like somebody took Overwatch hero style combat and mixed it with like horde mode. Just from the trailer that I watched.
That's exactly it.
Is okay. And now this is a game that came out 2 years ago, but I never played it, so it's new to me, and new to me is just as good as new as far as I'm concerned. I'm excited for Strange Brigade coming in August. Of the games that they announced, which one are you most excited for?
Sniper Elite, if you haven't played those games, they're really fun. I've played Sniper Elite 2 and 3, I think. Like I don't think I've played 4. I'm pretty sure I haven't played 4. And they have like weird x-ray modes, like you're sniping someone from like 1,000 meters away, and when you hit them in certain body parts, certain male body parts, you'll get like this weird camera mode where you actually see things explode. And I remember that being the thing that everybody was talking about online.
Can you turn that off? Because I don't really need that.
I think so. I think you can. I'm pretty sure you can. But I remember that being the big the big thing about this game, where you could see like the bullet hitting the skull and like plates shining and separating and moving. And I'm like, holy crap, this is like not a game I want my kids to play ever. But when you get past all that grossness, the game itself is actually really, really fun. It's really, really great. Did I say 1,000 years? I don't think I said 1,000 years. Did I?
I don't know. I wasn't listening.
I don't know. Kodiak is calling me out for something. I'm not sure if I said that. I might have. I probably did. But it is a lot of fun, and I always love sniping in video games. But when I do it in multiplayer, I end up getting shot from every other direction than where I'm facing. And since this is a single player sniper game, it's a heck of a lot of fun. I did say meters. Okay, good. Not years. So I'm really excited for that one. And Super Hot Mind Control Delete, like, this apparently is better than the original Super Hot game. Not better, bigger than the original Super Hot game. And the original Super Hot is fantastic. Super Hot VR is fantastic. So I'm really excited about this one as well. Interesting note about this particular Super Hot game: if you own another version of Super Hot, it's free on PC and on other platforms, except if you've gotten it for free as part of a deal, say on the Epic Game Store. You don't get it for free. Since we got Super Hot as a free game, I'm assuming that this will not be a free title on Stadia, that you'll have to buy it. But I'm happy if I'm wrong on that part. I'm really excited to jump in and play this one.
I personally think that's completely reasonable, that we would have to pay for this. 100%. And I know that because there's a lot of unreasonable people out there, and unreasonable people tend to have a very good relationship with their keyboards. So I'm sure that if we don't get Mind Control Delete as free, there's going to be a lot of complaints out there. And I'm here to say we already got the game. Well, okay, I hate to say free because you paid your subscription.
Yep.
But I think it's perfectly reasonable for Super Hot to expect us to pay for an expansion to a game that we got as part of our subscription. That being said, I would also be very, very happy if it were included as part of our pro subscription, or just added on to the one that we already got. I'm not expecting that, though. The thing that you said about Sniper Elite 4, I 100% agree with. I love sniping in games, but I don't like sniping in multiplayer games, because everything is happening way too fast. So I want to play those single-player games. What you just said, though, about it being super gross, and I did see in the trailer for Sniper Elite 4, like, it showed like the bones exploding and stuff, very Mortal Kombat-like, and my fingers are crossed that you can turn that stuff off. Because if you can turn that stuff off, then I'll probably really, really enjoy it. I've never been a fan of stuff where it's super gratuitous violence. It takes me right out of the moment, and I'm just like, you know what? You could have done this really, really well, but you decided to focus on the wrong part. and if for me it's the wrong part. If seeing somebody's shoulder explode when you shoot them is going to make you want to buy this game, then that's fine. It doesn't have to be a game for me. I just wish that there were, like, I remember playing, I think it's not Call of Duty, but it was like much older World War II games. Which game am I thinking of on PC?
Medal of Heroes?
Medal of Heroes, yes. I remember playing Medal of Heroes and doing the sniper stuff in that and having an absolute blast with it. And I haven't played a game like that in ages. And I don't know if there are games like that exist that are single player, that kind of thing in World War II. I just always really enjoyed that back then.
Yep. Yeah, I'm the same way. Kodiak in the chat room is saying, if you purchased a copy of Superhot on Google Stadia, you'll be eligible for a free copy of Mind Control Delete on Stadia when it releases. Purchased is there. If you got it for free, you didn't purchase it. So it's very unlikely that the game is going to be a free pro title, which is great. I'm all for the devs of Superhot making a big chunk of money, because what an amazing franchise that is.
Yeah. Let's move on to another game that has been announced for Stadia, and this was not announced by Google. It was announced by Ubisoft, and it's in their title release schedule for the second quarter, which is second quarter would be their fiscal year quarter. So their second quarter goes from July until September. So sometime between now and September, Uno, the card game Uno, should be coming to Stadia. Now, I know that back in the day, there was like the Xbox 360 version of Uno on Stadia, and everybody had cameras or whatever. And it was like, if you wanted to see some male genitalia, then that was the game that you wanted to play, because there's something wrong with people. So hopefully, there's no cameras on Stadia, so I don't think we have to worry about that. Are you excited for Uno on Stadia, Lloyd?
I love digital Uno, playing it online randomly with people. It's such a fun game to play. The Xbox 360 version, when that came out, I remember that, or the PlayStation. I was on PlayStation at the time or something, one platform anyway. And I just remember all the crazy stuff that was happening. And I'm like, okay, well, I have kids around here. Uno is a game that they play in cards. I never want them playing the digital version, so I uninstalled it because of that, because you couldn't turn off, at least I didn't know how you could turn off camera feeds from other people by default. Not having to worry about that on Stadia will be a good thing. Digital Uno is great. I just love the fact that we learned about a game from a PDF that was posted up on Ubisoft's website. It's just such a weird way to out the existence of a game in the digital only title release schedule from July to September 2020. It's just so bizarre, but that seems to be how we find out Stadia news lately. It's either from PEGI ratings board, from the ESRB ratings board, or from random PDFs from earnings calls. Just really, really crazy. And Jem wants us to do an Uno Stadiacast stream. We will definitely do that. I love Uno on digital versions.
Yeah, I've never played digital Uno, so I look forward to trying it out. I remember playing lots and lots of Uno when my kids were younger, so I'm looking forward to trying it out, definitely. Listen, you teed up this amazing segue, so I have to take it. You were talking about how we find out from games from ratings boards and stuff like that. Cake Bash, which is from CoatSync. CoatSync are the developers behind that. Oh my God, what's the name of the game? It's on Stadia. It's the one where
the zombie one, right?
No. The one where you move stuff.
Get Packed.
Thank you. They made Get Packed, and apparently they are going to be bringing another game to Stadia. This has been leaked out by the German ratings board, and you can see it on the German's rating board. So Stadia Source had found this, and they said basically this is a 4-player party game. It's made by the developers from High Tea Frog, but it will be I guess published by CoatSync, from what I understand. And I don't know much about Cake Bash except for you play as pieces of cake, and you are fighting each other, and it's like this 4-player party game, which seems really cool.
Definitely.
What do you think about Cake Bash?
I think it looks interesting. I just love how kind of realistic but also super cartoony all these things look, with like all the stickman faces all these I don't know, tasty treats have. It looks like a fun game. It's kind of like a battle arena game where you're trying to knock people off stages and things like that. Looks like it could be a really, really fun multiplayer title on Google Stadia.
You know what cracks me up about the art style is we've seen many times somebody where there's like an animal walking towards a camera or walking by or something, and then what they do is they sketch the arms of a human as stick figure arms onto that animal as it's walking, and they do all of the little animations and stuff, and it cracks me up each time. And that's what they're doing with the cake bash thing, is that they've got these pieces of cake or whatever, and they put on like these little human stick figure arms, and it just cracks me up.
I'm the exact same way. There was someone on Twitter I used to follow, and they used to do a bunch of animations with that, with like a banana with a face, and then the banana slowly gets peeled and the face turns to like horror, and then all of a sudden the face appears on the banana after it's been peeled, and it's all happy again because it's got its face back. Like just the emotion that you can convey in stick figure arms and like 2 dots and a line is pretty amazing. This game looks like a lot of fun. It definitely does look like a lot of fun.
It does. All right, let's take a look at the latest APK Teardown from 9 to 5 Google. Each time that they upgrade or update the new the Stadia app, 9 to 5 Google does an APK Teardown, and they post it all on a website, which is easily referenceable for us. So here's what they have to say. Microphone support. In Google Stadia for Android today, in the place where you'd usually see party controls the other platforms, you simply see parties coming to apps soon, which has been driving me crazy since it has launched, even with today's release of Stadia 2.26 rolling out now via the Google Play Store. That has not changed. However, they're seeing that it may be changed in the near future. The clearest proof is that it will now possibly support microphones. So they looked in there and they saw a bunch of stuff for microphone target, microphone targeting assistant, microphone targeting game chat, microphone targeting is none, and then microphone targeting party chat. So basically, depending on what you do, whatever you're saying into your microphone is going to go to these various places. And up until now, we didn't have party chat on mobile. And I think that that's kind of important because I don't want it for that particular reason. I don't want it so that I can talk to people while I'm playing on my phone, because I have an iOS device anyway, and even if I did, I probably wouldn't be playing on my phone. What I want it for is so that I can start and manage a party on my phone while I am playing on a Chromecast. That is the thing that makes this most interesting to me. Do you think that what do you think about this, Lloyd?
I think it's good that it's coming to mobile. Having all the platforms feature complete is a good thing. I love the fact that there's multiple targets for it. So microphone target assistant, microphone target game chat, microphone target party chat. So it's more than just, okay, your assistant is working or your game chat is working. It looks like parties are coming and the ability to chat in the specific game without joining a party, plus assistant. So maybe, just maybe, fingers crossed, we're going to have actual Google Assistant support working across all the different platforms soon. I know a lot of people are really wanting that. I mean, we can use it now for game launching. We can use it now in some instances for some info about the games we're playing, but be able to do what Google said, and you're stuck in a level and it's like, okay, how the hell do I beat this level in Orcs Must Die 3? And then boom, a little window pops up where you can click it or hit a button. You move over to a YouTube channel, watch the video, and then switch back to the game is a really great idea. So hopefully that happens. Some other people have been doing teardowns, including Jem, who's in our chat room, and it looks like the way that is going to work, or at least according to the current APK, is that when you do something like, how do I beat this level? And it gives you a YouTube video, it actually switches over to the YouTube app and turns off your controller. And then if you want to get back to the game, you just turn your controller back on, and then the app will immediately switch over back to the Stadia app. So that's a really interesting way of handling this. I'm really, really eager to see how Google is going to roll that out on PC, on mobile, and also on Chromecast. So more microphone stuff coming in just makes me excited for that future.
You know, I don't like the idea of it switching over to the YouTube app. I would prefer that they just overlay it on top of my game.
Yeah.
I think that would be so much better. But I also... Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it could be something to do with different OSs having different support for picture-in-picture and stuff like that. And maybe this is just the easiest way to support all platforms. So instead of having to have stuff running in the background and then have an overlay, maybe there's memory issues on Chromecast, maybe there's memory issues on certain phones. So maybe doing it this way is just the lowest common denominator way of doing it.
But I think, okay, I would disagree with that. The reason why is because we have Stream Connect, where I'm playing Division 2 and you're playing Division 2, and we're in a party together, and we can see each other's stream overlaid right on top of our stream.
But that's happening at the server level, not the phone levels.
Which is what I'm saying, that they should do it at the server level.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, everything should be done at the server level. That would be the great way to maintain parity across all the platforms.
Yeah. All right. Well, okay. It turns out we agree, and I'm not going to have to find a new co-host. All right. Playing on mobile data. When I interviewed John Justice, I don't know, forever ago. It was a really long time ago. One of the things that I said, I said, are we going to be able to play via, 4G, or are you waiting for 5G? And he said, basically, look, LTE is not reliable enough. So we're going to wait for 5G to come out before we're going to allow you guys to play on mobile. Now, of course, 5G is quote unquote out in some locations, but the number of places where it's available is very, very small. And it's really doesn't work all that well, especially if you don't have line of sight to the particular tower that you're, or not tower, but thing that you're connecting to. Well, in the particular, in this APK Teardown, they're talking about playing on mobile data. It says here, this call to action is found on a button when the user does not have Wi-Fi, but they are able to opt in to playing games over their mobile data network, 4G, LTE, etc. Find a way to play. There's a new feature available. You can opt into playing games using mobile data. And then there is a disclaimer for the mobile data gameplay opt-in setting, which says the feature may use more cellular data, up to 2.7 gigabits per hour. They then say that there is a title in a dialog box indicating the current game session has stopped because Wi-Fi network is now available, and the current game session was using cellular data network. So if you're playing, I can imagine you're sitting in the car, your spouse is driving down the street, you're playing some game on your phone, you pull into your garage, it sees your Wi-Fi and shuts you down, and then you have to reopen the game to play using Wi-Fi. That's kind of a inelegant solution, and I hope that there's a better way to do that. And then there's another dialog box that indicates the current game session has stopped because the Wi-Fi. Oh no, that's the same thing. I read it twice. Yep. What do you think about this, Lloyd? Do you think this is Google finally saying, all right, listen, we get it. You want to be able to play wherever you are. Let's give that to you.
The one thing that makes me happy with this is the 2.7 gigabytes an hour is about half of what the current the current 720p stream is rated at, which is 4.5 gigabytes an hour, which means that they're most likely going to be supporting 480p on mobile, which is exactly what I asked for. I think last week we were talking about this, saying I'd love to be able to choose 480p when I'm on my phone, 720p if I'm on Wi-Fi on my phone, 1080p if I'm on a web browser, or 4K if I'm on my Chromecast, and be able to have that choice would be great. It looks like this is going to be an automatic thing. Just by you doing it on mobile data, it's going to switch to 480p. But I'd love a future of Stadia where I could hit the Stadia button, it slides out, and then I can go and choose, no, I want 480p because my internet is acting up, or my kids are streaming multiple 4K movies from the Disney Channel. I want to save some bandwidth, so I can drop it down to 480p. I love that that's happening, especially since Google said the lowest resolution is going to be 720p. So if they're actually supporting 480p, it means they've expanded the scope a little bit, which is a really good thing for a lot of people, because 2.7 gigabytes an hour is a lot of data, but 4.5 is a lot more. So you could burn through your whole data allotment pretty quickly if you're playing games at 720p.
Yeah, Jay Chessel22 in chat said something that I 100% agree with. They said 480p is perfectly fine for mobile. And when we first talked about this, well, actually, but when we were kind of having a discussion in Discord one day, and I was like, well, I wonder what it would look like. So I brought up YouTube, and I went and found some gameplay of a game that I play all the time, and I said, show this to me at 480p, and I watched it, and it was perfectly fine. I could see everything that was happening, and that's because we're on a little tiny screen. We're on a little tiny screen, so you don't need to have as high a resolution in order to really see what's going on. So I think that is perfectly reasonable, and I hope that is something that they support. Do you think that they will also support 4K? So for those people who have like those crazy 4K phones and unlimited data plans, do you think that they'll say, all right, you can do 4K if you want, or do you think that Google made a deal with the service providers and said, we won't do it. We won't do that because we know that you'll cry. What do you think?
I don't know. I think that to me, this seems like this is going to be an automatic thing. Like when you're streaming on that's the reason why if you get home and you connect to Wi-Fi, it cancels your session and then brings you back, because it seems like current iteration of Stadia is unable to switch your resolution on the fly from 4K down to 1080p down to 720p down to 480p. It has to choose that resolution at the start and then start sending that to you. I could be wrong there, but it seems to me that's why there would be that limitation. I don't know if they're ever going to offer 4K on mobile, just because that's so much data. But Google being Google, they love to give people options and people control over their own wants on the platform. So maybe in the future there'll be an advanced thing that you can turn on. There's going to be a bunch of warnings saying, hey, you look at the menu screen for 5 minutes and you're going to blow through your mobile data cap. Are you sure you want to turn this on? And if you hit yes, then boom, there it is. But yeah, like as you said, 480p on a phone this big is fine. You can watch a YouTube video at 480p. You can watch that same video at 720p and then at 4K, and it looks the same just because of the pixel resolution, or the screen size to pixel resolution. I mean, you're not going to get that much more detail from stuff. So yeah, I don't know, man. I hope it comes for the people that want it. Not something I'm ever going to use, but I know there's a lot of people that will, so I'm excited for them.
Yeah, and one other thing to keep in mind for those of you that want that, say goodbye to your battery, because like it is going to just destroy your battery watching, getting a 4K stream. It's a lot more work for the CPU in order to decode that than it is to decode a 480p stream. All right, the last piece of the APK teardown is family sharing, which we have been waiting for and waiting for and waiting for forever, it seems like. Well, at least 6 months or so. So it says here, body for the tooltip that shows the user what to tap to choose which games to share in their game library. Use this icon to choose which games to share, so you can go through and say, yes, share this game, yes, share this game. Oh, this is Mortal Kombat. No, do not share this game. This is Doom. Don't share this game. I don't want my kids playing that. Title for the dialogue that shows up if the user presses back while they have games selected or hit the sharing icon again. The dialogue has the user confirm that they want to save their changes or not. And then we also learn that Google family groups of up to 6 people will be able to share Stadia games. Body of the section that tells users why they should create a Google family group. Make that group with up to 5 other family members so you can share Stadia games. This is my biggest problem right here with the whole thing. and it doesn't necessarily affect me, but it affects a lot of people. There are a lot of people who have more than 6 people in their immediate family, in their household, and I think it's just kind of, I think it's kind of asinine that they don't have a way to increase that number. So
Sure.
if me and my wife and our 5 children, I don't have 5 children, I have 3, and our 5 children, we want to all use all of that stuff. We just can't. We have to pick one kid and say, "Sorry, kid. I guess we'll let you play on the Switch or something instead. You are not allowed to play on Stadia with these games." And I understand they have to have a limitation there. They have to have a limitation there, otherwise it will be abused. But give me a way to pay to increase that limitation. Having a Google Family Group limited to 6 people and not being able to say, well, here's another $5 a month, increase that 2 more people or something in order to fit my family is just dumb, in my opinion. Do you think that Google has made a mistake here? Or, I mean, they kind of followed the same plan that Spotify and Apple Music and all of these other ones do. Do you think that they've all made mistakes?
I don't know. I think for the vast majority of people, 5 additionals, like 6 total, is the perfect number.
I think it's plenty. I think it's enough, but not for everybody.
But not for everybody, of course. There's always going to be the people that are going to fall through the cracks there. I guess it all depends how family sharing is going to work. We've seen some dialogues before where you can't play this game because someone else is playing it. You can't access it because someone else is accessing it. Once all that stuff gets sorted out, it'll be interesting to see. I don't think we're going to have a future where I could buy a copy of the game and play multiplayer with my son. I think if you're going to be playing the same game twice, you're going to need multiple copies of the game, which just means that if you're going to be doing family sharing for more than 5 people, you just have to create another family and buy the games on that one as well, which obviously isn't a good solution. But I think 6 is kind of the standard number for all the other services, or 5 I think is the normal number for all the other services. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out, though.
Yeah, and like I said, I do think that it fits most families. But just give people who want to have a bigger family a way to pay to increase that number. All right, moving on. We've got some updates on games on Stadia. Lloyd, you played Wavebreak, the bigger, better, longer, faster. Daft Punk is coming after them right now. You played the update. What did you think of the new patch for Wavebreak?
I think it's great. It plays well. From when you hit start to the level loading, that's much faster. It looks amazing in HDR. The game itself looks beautiful. It seems like they've added some new visual features. They've made it easier to do certain tricks and to do certain grinds and things like that. The game is still really, really hard. I recorded the video, posted it up, and I still suck. I still am terrible at this game, which is just so weird to me because I've played so many versions of Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and I have the muscle memory in my fingers. Like if I pick it up, I know how to do like these crazy tricks just by muscle memory. And then I get into Wavebreak, and it's just like it's like I'm speaking a new language that I've never heard before. It's so weird. So this is a good first step. What they really need to add is a tutorial to say, hey, this is your first time playing, or just have tutorial at the menu. Let's go through how to do all the different tricks. Here's how to do a lip grind. Here's how to do a grab. Here's how to do a manual. Here's how to link multiple tricks together. Here's how you do this. Here's how you do that. Here's how you get off your boat. Here's how you get back on it. Just a simple tutorial at the start would be huge. And then also, I like this one where when you choose your rider, your driver, your boater, or your character, I guess, it shows what your stats are. That's fantastic. But what they need to do is in the gym, when you're leveling up your stats, it needs to say, okay, this does this. So if you're choosing, I can't remember the name of the one. There's one that's just like, I don't understand what it means, what it's referencing, but say grinds. Okay, it'll make grinding easier, or you can hold a grind longer, or whatever increasing that stat does for the video game. That would be a really great thing to add as well. So good first step. Adjusting the round times to be longer is huge, but we need more. We need more to this game to make it a little bit more user friendly. Because yeah, it isn't right now.
So I watched your video, and you posited that you wondered if your experience with Tony Hawk was hampering your ability to play Wavebreak, and perhaps it would be better if it were somebody who'd never played Tony Hawk before. And I'm here to tell you, I have never played Tony Hawk before, and this game is all but impossible for me to enjoy. And it's too bad, because I love everything about this game. I love the presentation. I love the music. I love the ridiculous, over-the-top nonsense. I love that you can slow down time and shoot people while you're in the middle of a trick combo. All of that stuff is amazing, but I just can't get good, as our community member Bravd would say. I just can't. I can't do it. I can't get better at this game. And yes, you're 100% right. Give us a tutorial. They need to stop all other work on this game and just get everybody focused on making a tutorial so that people can learn to play, learn to get good. Because I go into like the unlimited time thing, right? And I'm moving around, but it doesn't teach me what I need to do. That's like me showing up. I'm a teacher, if you guys didn't know. That's like me showing up on the first day and saying, all right, everybody, here's our test for this year. Go ahead and take it. And I'm like, the kids would be like, oh, you haven't taught us any of this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Go ahead.
Yeah,
and that's what it feels like when I'm playing Wavebreak. Yeah. And it's just so frustrating, because I want to love this game. Everything about it is awesome except for how to play. Yep. And I want them to teach me.
It screams my aesthetic for what I do when I do my videos and things like that. I love the vaporwave style of things, the old like Miami Vice look from back in the 80s, 90s. I love that. So I love the game. The game looks beautiful. The water physics are great. The music is just absolutely fantastic. And then it's just like, I can't play this game. I don't know what to do. My fingers are broken. Yeah. Hopefully some tutorials will come in, and maybe slow down my button inputs would help that out a little bit too.
All right. So we have another patch, and this one is for Orcs Must Die 3. There's a patch that is now out, and many people in our Discord were like, "Hey, wait a second. How come all my scores are gone?" And that's because they wiped the leaderboards after this patch. They all of them went away for a couple of reasons. First off, they changed a thing about the game which was significant enough that it would have, like, it changes the way that you would have earned points. So they had to get rid of those. And then the second part was that the leaderboards had somehow mixed in together the multiplayer leaderboards and the single player leaderboards, and that's just not going to work. So they wiped out the leaderboards and started over, which is fine. They also made it so that now when you use confusion, which I talked about at the beginning of the show, when you use confusion on the orcs, either through the butterfly window or through the plant or whatever other things that I haven't unlocked yet, when you use that confusion on them and they turn around and start walking the wrong way, which is awesome, now they will path through the other enemies instead of just bumping into each other and stopping there. They also then had to change how much damage certain traps did because of the way that the enemy pathing changed. So there's a bunch of different fixes. Co-op scores are no longer going to show up in the solo leaderboards, but I have to say, damn it, that's such a good game. It is. It might. It's up there for me with how much time that I've put into with Doom Eternal. I put in probably just as much time to both games, and Elder Scrolls Online. Orcs Must Die 3 is a phenomenal game. It is amazing, and if you did not play it yet, you're missing out. I'm telling you.
I agree. The game is fantastic. I don't like that they nerfed Window of Butterflies, because that was my I can't beat this level. Okay, I'm just going to use a bunch of Windows of Butterflies. Now they've nerfed it a little bit, so I'm going to have to alter my ideas on how to beat these levels a little bit. But it's really good, and the fact that they reset all the leaderboards is actually a good thing, because now you're going to get extra skulls for setting your high score again. So what you can do is go play a level and just beat it, and you'll get a skull, and then go and beat it with a little bit of a better score, and you get another skull, and then beat it again with like your crazy score, and you'll get a bunch of free skulls just by replaying the levels multiple times. So I'm a big fan of that. But yeah, this is a huge update, and the game just launched, so this is a pretty good meaty patch to come out so soon after the game hitting the Stadia store.
All right, we had a lot to talk about in the news, so that is why we have gone this long without a break. But we're going to take just a quick little break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about crowd play. Stick around, everybody. All right, let's be honest. We didn't go to a break because I forgot, so let's move on from that. First off, we have to say thank you to a whole bunch of people who became members during our chatting here. We had Jem became a member. We had Kodiak Moonwolf became a member, so you guys are amazing for that. And then we had a bunch of super chats. Of course, Sukotronic sent in their ever I don't know what, something that happens over and over again. There's super chat each and every time we go live. Sukotronic shows up, drops a super chat. We really appreciate that. Ray Sherrod sent in a super chat saying that they love the Stadia Cats talk. So when we talk about the cats. And then we had one from Hussein Al-Faili, who did not leave a message with their super chat. But now we have a couple more super chats that have come in that have comments with them. So let's start with Jay Chussel. They sent in a super chat. Thank you to everybody who did that. And they said, Stadia needs a fun party game like Mario Party. Cake Bash sort of feels like that, but that's only like one part of it. Like that's like one mini game in Mario Party. Are there any Mario Party like games out there, Lloyd, that you've played that you think, because obviously Mario Party is not going to come to Stadia, are there any out there that you think should come or that could come to Stadia?
Oh geez, I can't think of one off the top of my head. There has to be something out there that isn't platform specific, because I know there was like the PlayStation like Brawl, which was like Smash Brothers, and there was other PlayStation games that had a bunch of PlayStation mascots in that. I can't think of any of the names right now. Yeah, I can't think of one, Bill. You got me. You stumped me. I can't think of another party game that would possibly be able to come to Stadia without infringing on IPs.
So Goblin Lord X in chat says Pummel Party, which I've never heard of. But yeah, that is a genre that it feels like Nintendo's the only one that does, is make these fun party games. I will say that there are some party games. They are not like Mario Party, but there are some party games that I absolutely think need to come to Stadia, and that would be Jackbox and Use Your Words. Those are both these weird games where you have a thing that happens up on the screen, and then everybody connects to the game using their phones, and then you play by typing in things on the phone or drawing something on your phone, and then everybody gets to vote on stuff or things like that, or there's trivia or that kind of thing. Like, those games are really, really good, and it's a shame that they're not on Stadia yet. Man, it makes me like, we've got this awesome community here. It makes me want to play one of those games, but I can't because it's not on Stadia. I don't know if at some point you guys would like to see a Jackbox style stream here on Stadiacast, even if it's not on Stadia, let us know in the comment section down below. But Jay Chussel, you got a good point. That is a genre that is just lacking on Stadia, and it's actually lacking on everywhere that there's no that it's not Nintendo, really.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
CSTA in the chat room is saying Fall Guys would be great to come to Stadia. Fall Guys is a game that I think it entered Steam Early Access or something. I think it's out or will be out soon, or the beta is on right now, I think is what it is. And it's essentially a multiplayer party game with, I think, like up to 64 players, and you do stupid things like you have to go collect things and drop them in your little nest, or you're being pummeled by fruit, or you're going through mazes with moving platforms like you're playing in Wipeout. This would be a really fun game coming to Stadia. So yeah, I agree with you. Fall Guys would be a really great game to come to Stadia.
And Granite T Rock wants to know if anybody remembers You Don't Know Jack. I do remember You Don't Know Jack. I used to play that on the web all the time. And I also remember Agoraphobia, the game where you had to make acronyms and vote on people's best acronyms. That was my favorite one. I wish that there was a version of that. All right, Jay Chussel sent in another super chat. They said, feature request: one home, one game equals free co-op with my kids. Do you follow what he's saying there? Because he's trying to get in the because they don't get as much room to do a super chat. What is he saying there?
Basically saying if I buy a game once, I should be able to play multiplayer co-op with my family.
Kind of like on the PlayStation. The PlayStation does that, but it only does it with one other PlayStation.
That's right. Yep, really great. If you could have a primary account and a secondary account, and you could both play at the same time, that would be fantastic. But if 3 people in your family want to do it, say no. Having that type of support for certain games would be fantastic, and I'd get a lot of multiplayer Stadia stuff happening with my kids.
Yeah. All right, and then David Bennett sent in a super chat. They said, do you think there should be a cheaper sub option for just 4K HDR for people who don't want access to all the pro games and only own just a couple? I mean, I'm not opposed to it if that's what people want. If people want to pay Google for 4K HDR, but how much do you think it should cost? Lloyd, let's start with you. How much do you think it should cost?
Cut it in half. $5 a month gets you 4K but no pro games. That it's enough that people say, well, it's only an extra $5 to get all these additional games. I think that would be a good starting point.
I think $5 is too much because, I don't know, man. I think $5 is too much for just 4K HDR, because why would anybody get just that and not get the pro games for an extra $5 on top of that? Because there's so many really, really good deals that we get with
agree.
pro.
Pro is such a good deal, along with like Microsoft Game Pass, like all these subscription services where you get games every month to play. Even PlayStation Plus has been decent over the last little bit. I love that, and paying $10 a month to get that stuff is not a big deal in my books, but I can see why it would be in some people's.
You know what I think that Google ought to do? They ought to just take that 4K HDR nonsense and just say that's everybody has access to that. Because that's not the reason why I don't think anybody. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think anybody out there is subscribing to Stadia Pro for that reason. That's just a bonus, really. Most people are subscribing to Pro to get all of those other games.
And if they have it, so every game that you buy is 4K HDR or up to 4K HDR, that's great. If free to play games come, I could see, say Fortnite comes in a few months. Well, if you're playing on a free account, if you're able to even play free to play on free accounts without a pro subscription, you get a maximum of 1080p. But if you buy, if you're a pro, you get 4K, or if you've bought this founders pack or this specific pack in the store for $15, then you also get the ability to get 4K without having a pro subscription. So there's ways they could do that as well. But it should be, if I buy a game, if I come to Stadia and I buy Doom Eternal, I should be able to play it at 4K 60 or whatever it supports, the max resolution it supports, even if I don't have a pro subscription, because I gave Google my $60 to play that game. So I could see that thought line for sure.
Mm-hmm. William Millard sent in a super chat. They said, I would like to see Google snatch up a Naughty Dog executive. And okay, that's cool. I know that everybody loves Naughty Dog. I'm not a fan. I never really played any of their games very much. So that's cool. My question to you, Lloyd, then is, who would you like Stadia to go and grab? Let's go find somebody. Who do you want?
I have no idea. I know like Amy Hennig was the big Naughty Dog person for a while, but I think she went to, was it EA Motive, I want to say, something like that, to do Star Wars stuff. Or maybe it wasn't Motive, maybe it was another one of the EA studios. I can't remember. I can't think of anybody who's at Naughty Dog anymore. Like that was the big thing for a while.
Not necessarily Naughty Dog.
Right, but just in general,
Just
like I'm thinking
general.
to other studios. I'm looking at them, and I just can't think it. Like there was a time when everyone was bringing out the creative mind behind a particular game and putting them on a pedestal, and they would do the E3 thing. That seemed to have died over the last little bit. That it's not happening so much. They're having members of the development team, a more diverse groups of people coming up and talking about the game, which is a really good thing. So I can't even think of someone that I'd love to come over to Google. What I would really love to see is Google just buy more studios, and have more content creators as part of the Google portfolio, so that they can then collaborate with other Google studios and bring the best games possible to Stadia.
Yeah. If I were to pick a person or two, I would say Reggie. I would want him to hire Reggie. Get Reggie in there. That guy knocks some heads around. I like Reggie. All right.
Yeah, Reggie would be great.
If you don't know who Reggie is, just type in Reggie and you'll find out who he is, because he's awesome. All right. We also had a couple of things that people sent in on Twitter. You can send it in using the hashtag Stadiacast, and then I search for it before the show. And often we don't get to these because we have so much to talk about, but we can talk about them today. So Anthony Talcott sent in a question, and I think it's a great question. He said, "Hey, Bill, Lloyd, how do you guys review games? Do you play them all the way through, or until you're satisfied that you have enough info? And what was your favorite game to review?" So I'm gonna go first real quick, and I'm gonna say I don't review a game unless I've finished it. That being said, you don't see a lot of reviews from me. That's the reason, because I don't have the attention span to finish most games. Most games I will play a good portion of, and then I will get distracted by something shiny and move on to something else. And that's why I don't review games. I will tell you what I think about a game. Oh, I like this, and I like this, and I didn't like that. But I very seldom will say that something is a review. Now, I have reviewed more games on Stadia than I have probably any other platform, which is crazy because it's only been around for 6 months. And I've been creating content for games for a really long time. The reason why is because I can play it on every screen, and so I have more access. I get back to it more often. So I've reviewed games like Guilt and Darksiders Genesis on Google Stadia, and I've had a lot of fun. I can't really answer your second part, like what was my favorite game to review, because they're all different in so many ways. Lloyd, what about you for these questions?
I have to complete a game. If it's a story game that has a start and a finish, I have to beat it to review it. If it's a game that really doesn't have an ending, then sure, you play 10 hours of that game and you probably have enough to do a review. But I need to complete a game to do a review. It drives me crazy to see a game just come out, and the person that is reviewing it, in air quotes, got it the same day as any other consumer. They didn't get a pre-release code 2 weeks ago. They got it the day it comes out. 6 hours later, they have a review of the game because they've played an hour of the game. That drives me absolutely insane, because not only is it not true, you haven't reviewed a game because you haven't beat the game, but you're also you're not being true to your followers and the people that love your content if you do stuff like that. So that's like a personal pet peeve of mine for content creators, is doing stuff like that. So just like Bill, that is a reason why you don't see a lot of full reviews from me. I instead talk about how I love a game on a podcast for 15-20 minutes instead of doing a 15-20 minute review, except if it's a rare game that I have completed 100% on Stadia. So yeah, just like me, just like Bill, that's the same way that I do it. One of my favorite games to review was the Nintendo Switch version of Skyrim. I got that about 3 weeks early, which is good because it takes a while to beat that game. And I put about 60 hours into it to beat the main storyline and do a bunch of the side quests and check out all the Nintendo specific stuff. It was really fun capturing screenshots of my character dressed up as Link and all this stuff. It was so much fun putting that thing together and putting the review out. But I had 3 weeks and I used all of my 3 weeks getting that ready. I really wish I had more time to play games these days.
Yeah, I will say this about reviews from us. You often see us do things like first looks or first impressions or just discussions about a game. We would 100%. We would make so much more money doing this if we simply changed the thumbnail on those to review and change the name of it to review. But we don't do that because we feel like that's being disingenuous to our audience. So that's why you don't see a lot of reviews from us. But thank you very much for the question, right, Anthony Telka. It's a good discussion point. We've got one more crowd play that came in on the Twitter, and it's Roger Ling. He said, "Is the honeymoon over for Stadia? I've noticed more and more negative vibe on Stadia from many of the Stadia content creators lately. What is it? Are you comparing the Kinect with the Sony and Microsoft latest showings?" So I'm going to start us off, and I'm going to say it's impossible not to compare the two things when they make announcements at the same time. It's just human nature that you're going to make those comparisons. However, I think that a lot of people have expectations that are unreasonable. Whereas Microsoft and Sony have been in the business for more than 2 decades for Sony and 1.5 decades for Microsoft. They've been doing this for a really, really long time. Google's just starting out. And I think that comparing those two things is very, very different, especially when you keep in mind the fact that Microsoft and Sony are unveiling a brand new consoles or unveiling brand new consoles this year. And Google's just saying, hey, here's some new games that are coming to Stadia. That's the thing about Stadia is they're never going to unveil a brand new console. We have the brand new console that we're going to have in 10 years. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be a controller connected to the internet. And that is what is so exciting about Google Stadia. So Lloyd, I personally haven't really seen a lot of the negative vibe that he's talking about, but I also don't really follow other content creators because I don't have time. I'm too busy creating content to consume content. What do you think about this?
I have seen a lot more angst in the community. I can't think of a time in my 15 years or so covering Nintendo where I've ever been called a sellout and I'm actually a Trojan horse for Microsoft. That has never happened to me in 15 years of creating Nintendo content. People haven't said that the only reason why I'm covering Nintendo is to convert them to Microsoft people. Like that has never happened. So I've seen a lot more angst in the community whenever you say something like, if you bring up xCloud, everyone's like, oh, you're a Microsoft shill. It's like, no, I'm someone that covers the whole industry. I talk about the whole industry. I want to cover everything, because if you are only looking at one specific subject, you're not doing your due diligence, because there is a whole bunch of other games in this industry besides the ones that you're covering. And if you're not using those to inform your decision or your opinions, you're not doing the best thing that you can for the people that are consuming your content, whether they're listening to your podcast or watching your videos. As far as other content creators, I have seen a lot of content creators that used to be rah Stadia being a little bit more upset, and I think that isn't surprising. Google has been really slow to roll out. I said low out, which does not make sense at all. To roll out the changes or the features that they promised at the initial unveiling of Stadia. So it's been a slow ride to get to where we are. We're almost a year in, we're getting close to a year in, and we don't have a lot of the features that were talked about on day one. So I understand that angst from the community as well. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's interesting. If anything, it shows that the platform is growing and becoming more mature, I guess, that you don't have just the fan people that are doing their fan people thing. You have people that are actually leveraging criticisms against Google, which is a good thing, because no company deserves or should be protected from criticism, because if people don't criticize the way a platform holder is doing things, we don't get a better platform. We just get whatever they throw out. Competition breeds better features. So having xCloud out there is great. Having GeForce Now out there is great. Stadia's going to grow because of that, and we're going to obviously cover the good and bad of what's happening in Google Stadia.
Right. If we were just, of course, right as soon as I started talking, sorry, if we were just here to be cheerleaders for Stadia, then that would be a bad thing. That's just as bad as the people out there who are just here to say how horrible Stadia is. That's not balanced. You want to say the good things and you want to say the bad things. And Lloyd and I have done that for years with our Nintendo shows. We've talked about, hey, Nintendo, you did a great job here. Nintendo, your latest Nintendo Direct was a stinker. Whatever the comments are, it's okay to be critical of something that you like, because if you're not critical, if you're just here to say how amazing it is, then you're not being fair to, if you are a content creator like we are, then you're not being fair to your audience by blindly shouting from the rooftops how amazing it is. You got to say, look, this is what's great about it, and this is what's bad about it. And that's what we're always going to do, and what we've done from the very beginning. It just so happens that most of the time, Lloyd and I think that Stadia is doing a pretty good job. We think that they're doing pretty well overall. And so when we say something that's critical of them, or when we say something nice about somebody else, everybody assumes that now we hate Stadia, which is a ridiculous thing, because I spend most of my gaming time in Google Stadia these days. Does that mean I always will? Absolutely not. Sometimes I'm going to be playing my Nintendo Switch. Sometimes I'll play my PS4. Or when the time comes, maybe an Xbox Series X or a PS5. Who knows? But if you only want cheerleaders, this is not the place for you. Thank you very
100%.
much for the comment, Roger.
Yeah, no, that was great, Roger. And yeah, just to reiterate what Bill said, yeah, we're never going to be the cheerleaders for one platform, because we live in all the platforms. I play Xbox, PlayStation, PC, Nintendo Switch, Stadia. I've played xCloud. I've tried GeForce. I've done all that stuff because that's how, as a content creator, that's how you better inform yourself. You know what's happening in the whole industry, even if you're only covering one small segment of the industry, because you want to know, okay, Nintendo's doing something really cool. Google, steal it. Add that to Stadia because that'll make things better. That is why this industry is so good, because there's so many different players in the industry all doing their own thing, and it's really cool to see one company kind of take an idea that someone else had but make it better, and then the original platform holder says, well, that was our idea, yours is better, we got to make ours better. And then the only people that win out are the gamers, because we get better games, we get better platforms, we get better consoles, and it's a good thing. So yeah, we're never going to do the Pepsi taste test, the Pepsi challenge. we're never going to do the platform holy wars. Nintendo's better, no, Sega's better. That's never going to be what we do here. We cover everything, but this is a show that focuses mainly on Stadia.
Right. And I will say this before, and we keep going back and forth and we're going long, but I will say this. Lloyd and I are going to continue to talk about the things that we're interested in. And if that happens to be the same thing that you're interested in, then awesome. But sometimes we're going to post, Stadiacast is always going to be about Stadia. Yep. But sometimes we're going to say, hey, this is really cool. I want to talk about that. Let's sit down and have a conversation. We'll post a video. And if it's not about Stadia and you don't want to hear about something that's not about Stadia, don't click on that video.
Exactly.
It's that easy. So go ahead, Lloyd, and then we'll finish up.
I could say, like, in the future, Sony could fix PlayStation Now and make it an awesome platform. We will probably devote an hour-long video to talking about the new features and the new service and all this stuff. And we're going to post it here, but doesn't mean that we're all of a sudden Sony fanboys and we're going to crap on Stadia. That's just not the way it works. So yeah, we like to look at the whole industry, and we use the whole industry to inform our opinions on what Stadia is doing.
That's right. So thank you for listening to Sonycast. Follow the show on Twitter at Stadiacast. You can follow me at Run Jump Stomp. You can follow Lloyd at Dasme. Dasme, how do you spell that?
DASME.
And you can use that hashtag Stadiacast so we can find your tweets when I'm building the show notes. You can join our Discord over at runjumpstomp.com/Discord. And it just occurs to me, last week you did this because I closed my show notes, and I liked it better when you did it. So maybe we'll have you do the outros in the future.
Awesome.
Lloyd also has a Discord over at res.tv/Discord. The music that you're about to hear is Subterranean Kamikaze by Zircon. You can check out their stuff at zirconstudios.bandcamp.com. Thank you for watching, everybody. Lloyd, I'll see you next time.
We'll see you later, Bill. Take it easy, everybody.
All right, we're out. I think that's going to be our new ending to the show, is you're going to read the outro and then do the song yourself.
I was going to say, do you know how hard it is for me not to sing along to the song? Because I know that would ruin up. You'd have to do some more editing if I did that. But it's tough. But I dance. No one can see my dancing, and no one can hear the. You can see it. Yeah. You can see it. No one else can see it, though.
All right. So how's it going, everybody? Thank you for hanging out with us. I'm going to turn the music back on.
Oh.
Good job today, Lloyd.
Yeah, it was a fun show, Bill. A lot of great stuff. I love the fact that we're getting so many different news items from so many different sources. It makes Stadia feel like every other platform, where you'll get like an odd posting on like Walmart Canada's website and everyone knows that a game's coming to PlayStation. Now we're getting that stuff, but we're getting it directly from the publishers, which is just so bizarre to me that they would out a game in a press release. Yeah. But I love it. I absolutely love it.
Bad Mojo's here. I know Bad Mojo. He's a good tank in Elder Scrolls Online.
Hey, Mojo. How's it going, man? That and Will Ferrell on the cowbell. Yeah, I need to get a cowbell here for when the music's going.
The stream is over. Time to kill some orcs. That's right. Go kill them orcs. I got to finish that game. I want to do a review, but I don't know if I can finish it. I did well, maybe the new maybe the new patch will make it easier, but I'm on I think might be the final war. What do they call them? War?
It's not Warzone. Warfield? No.
War something. I can't remember what it is, but I'm just struggling with it. It's tough.
I'm stuck on the third one, the one with the tower, where you have kind of like it's kind of like a spiral, and they spiral in on both sides, and then they go up the circular tower. I can't beat that one. I
got a tip for you. All right.
Okay.
Make a go to the top of one of them, and put a barricade at the top. They'll waste all their time running up that side. They'll get to the top and they'll be like, oh, I can't go, and then they'll turn around and run all the way back down.
That's smart, because I was putting the barricade right at the floor so that I could have everybody focus on one. But yeah, having them go all the way to the top and then down. That's how I beat the first one. Is I put a barricade part way, like almost right beside where the doors were, and they would go all the way up, and then they'd have to go all the way back and around, which just allowed you to cut the number of mobs that were coming at you at one time in half. I'll have to do that one. But yeah, I was just like, oh my god, maybe I'm not powerful enough, and I was going back and grinding skulls, which I guess I can do now because they reset all the high scores, so I can go get another like 10-15 skulls just by replaying those levels and unlock some new things or level them up. I'm excited, man. This game is so good. I wish I could beat it, but it just punches me right in the face when on some of these levels when you spend 25 minutes and you fail right near the end. It's like, oh god, okay, I'll try again, but not right now. I need to go take a break.
Yeah, my biggest complaint about the game is that I can't just save mid level and be like, all right, I'm gonna come back to this later, because I was doing endless mode. I was on like wave, I don't know, 20 or something. And my wife came in to talk to me, and I could just pause it, and I paused it and we talked for a bit, but then we were going to go do something, and I was like, well, I guess I'll just get killed because like what the hell else am I going to do? So I would love it if I could just say, okay, save my place so I can come back to this later, especially on endless, because endless, like, you could get up, you could be like, I don't know, like on 30s or something, and you've spent an hour and now you have to throw it away because you have something that you have to go do. That's so frustrating. Although I did see somebody say, I guess the game breaks around 80 because the frame rate just can't keep up with all of the crap that's going on.
Yeah, and it's amplified even more on Stadia, because if you pause a game for 15 minutes, it dumps you out of the game, and it's just like, why? Save it. Do save states or something. That would be a really good thing for this game. But yeah, be able to save mid endless run at like level 20 and then come back to it would be fantastic. Hopefully that's something they can add in. Yeah.
And like Granite T Rock is saying, that prolonged pause that you can do on a Switch and on a PlayStation. I don't know if you can you do that on an Xbox, because I don't have one.
Yeah, you can.
Where you just shut it off and come back and you pick it up exactly where you left off. That is that right there is the reason that I have 200 hours in Breath of the Wild. Because I could just hit the home button, shut it off, go do something, come back, hit the button, I'm right back in where I was before. So I do wish that they would do that, and they could use state share for that if they would just build it in. Just generate a link that don't call it state share, but call it a save state, and generate that link that only you have access to. And then the next time that you start Stadia, have a list of those save states, those state share links, and only you have access to them. You just go click and you start. Bam.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be fantastic. Like, you got to think, like, I don't know how many gigs of RAM each of these blades have. So you got to think that if you had save states for multiple games, you'd start chewing up the storage on all these blades, or on Google's like storage thing. But then people also upload like 18 or 800 lifetimes worth of videos every day to YouTube. So I don't think Google's has any chance of running out of disk space anytime soon.
Exactly.
So yeah, do that. Each game has one save state, which is say 10 gigs or 12 gigs or 16 gigs, whatever. Obviously it's not going to be 100% all used up when you do that save state, but that would be great. That would be a really great way to get past this. One other thing, I don't know if anybody else has this issue. I'm going to throw it out to the people that are watching and to you, Bill. Do you ever have your Stadia controller just disconnect? It's connected. The round circle is white around my Stadia logo, but my controller just disconnects from the game. And the only way to complete it, or to fix it rather, is to turn my controller off by holding the power button for 10 seconds, turning the controller back on, waiting another 5 minutes for it to connect to the Stadia instance that I'm on. That is really annoying. And what's even more annoying is when that happens, when you're in a game like Orcs Must Die and you're on a war challenge thing, and you lose because you don't have control over your orcs or your orc killers, that is really bad, and that makes me want to throw my controller and rage quit. So I wish there was a way that if you're not receiving input from a controller over a period of time, that it automatically just pauses your game and say, hey, are you still there? That would be a really great thing.
Yeah, I've run into that. I haven't run into it a lot. It's probably happened to me maybe 5 times since Stadia launched. And you are 100% correct. The controller still thinks it's connected, even though it's not. And the game should automatically say, hey, we've lost connection to your controller. I'm going to pause. Now, of course, in a game like Elder Scrolls, that wouldn't work because that's an online game. There is no pausing. But for a game that can pause, it should pause. Like if I'm playing on my Switch and my controller just dies because I didn't charge it, the game pauses, it brings up the connect your controller screen. I don't understand why Stadia doesn't do that. Somebody in chat is saying it's an ISP connection issue. I don't think so. It's only happened when I've been playing in another room. It's never happened in this room. It's only happened in the room across the hall. So I don't think it's an ISP thing. Some people are saying it's your router. Maybe it's my router, but I also have Google Wi-Fi, and it works really well with everything else. It's not like
I'm touching my router right now. So that's how close I am to my router, and it happens here in my room. So it could be that maybe I'm disconnected from the internet, but I don't think so, because other people are streaming Netflix and my video doesn't ever screw up. My video doesn't get pixelated. It's just my controller just stops working. And
it's not like you're running out of bandwidth or something, because this is sending an incredibly small amount of data. We really should talk about this on the show next week.
Yeah, let's talk about it next week. We'll add that to the show notes for next week for sure.
All right. Just remind me, because I forget things. Like we were going to talk about Stadiahead a while ago, and we forgot. All right. So, guys, I'm out of here. I got to get the show edited. Are you going to do... by the way, Lloyd, we need to do another Monopoly stream sometime. People really like that.
We do. We definitely need to get that planned for sure.
And Uno.
Yeah. Uno will be there for sure.
All right. Well, I'll see you guys around. Are you doing any streaming later today, Lloyd?
I have a bunch of stuff planned, so if I can fit something in, yes, but I don't think it's going to happen today.
That's right. Goldfish emote. I'll get that. Is that emote uploaded? Yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
There you go. Goldfish emote. All right, everybody. Stay awesome. Hope to see you guys around. You guys are fantastic. Bye.
Awesome. Take it easy, everybody.